You guys asked for it. Here it is, my 3-vessel brewing system. Stay tuned and I'm going to show you how it all comes together and works and gets me a batch of beer. Hello everyone, Coach Chris here with WolfMoon Brewing. Today I'm going to go over my 3-vessel brewing system and just give you a quick highlight on how this all comes together and how it all works. So let's get started. Start over here. I've got a 15-gallon SS Brew Tech boil pot. It's got 2 ball valves on it. On the top ball valve on the inside has a whirlpool adapter, and the bottom one has a pickup tube with a little tube dam on it. It sits on a Metal Brew propane burner, and I've just recently did a review on that, and I'll link that up above. Over here we have a 20-gallon mash tun from SS Brew Tech. It's an insulated mash tun. This has a false bottom that came with it. I upgraded to this for recirculating, and I have 4 different lengths of hoses depending on how much grain I have in here. I've modified the thermal well to have this thermocouple attached to it. I also have the other line that goes to the SS Brew Tech heating pad that is attached to the bottom of this to help maintain temperature during my mash. And my last vessel here is another 15-gallon SS Brew Tech pot that I've modified with a stainless steel coil inside. So this is not only my hot liquor tank, but it is also my Herm system to maintain temperature in my mash tun during the whole entire mash. I have 3 different temperature probes in the tank, so I can monitor the temperature of the liquid, and I can measure the temperature of the mash going in and leaving the Herms tank. This tank is also heated by another Metal Brew burner, propane burner, but I've modified this burner to be automated to turn on and off so I can maintain the temperature and not have to watch it as closely. As you can see down below, I have some stainless steel tubing connected to 2 pumps. They're gravity-fed pumps, so I absolutely have to make sure that I have liquid at the pump before I turn them on. And before each pump, I have a sight glass so I can ensure that the liquid is at the pump before I turn it on so I don't burn it out. I have both of those pumps plugged into a remote control so I can turn the pumps on and off with a remote control. The system used to be a lot more involved. It used to have a lot more piping, and it used to have 7 3-way ball valves on it. Earlier this year, I took it completely apart, re-engineered it, so it's now much easier to clean and maintain, and I've knocked it down to only having 4 of those 3-way ball valves. So it's much easier to maneuver the liquid around. It's a lot less piping, and it's a heck of a lot easier to clean and maintain. I control the temperature of the Herms and therefore also the temperature of the mash with this controller that I built using a Raspberry Pi and some circuitry. I'll get into that at another time. In another video, I'll do a full makeup on that. It pushes out to a web page that I can access from any computer on my network, and that's how I set up what temperatures, step mashing, whatever works all through this, and it automates the propane burner to turn on as needed to maintain the temperature of the liquid and therefore also maintaining the temperature of my mash. The stand itself was built from an old workbench that I had that I took apart very carefully and put back together in this configuration. I reused the brackets that made the bench and reused all the same wood. I painted it all with a waterproofing deck stain to keep it from getting damaged from the splashing and any other liquid that might get onto it during the brew day. I did put a piece of tile underneath the burners on each side to help dissipate the heat a little bit. And I also have pieces of metal here along the sides to help dissipate the heat. These pieces of metal are also wrapped in a heat diffusing material that is used in engine firewalls in vehicles. So it keeps the heat from getting to the wood and causing any issues. However, just because I've done all that to help protect the unit, I do always have a fire extinguisher nearby during my brew days. You might notice this winch here that I have situated over my mash tun. I found that to clean the mash tun is a little cumbersome, so I invested in a brew bag from Brew Bag that's custom sized to fit inside my mash tun. I use that, and when I'm done mashing and all the liquid has been taken out, I use the winch to lift the mash bag up and let it drip for a while so that I can get all of the grain out of the mash tun. Using this grain bag makes cleanup much easier now. I don't have to try to pick up the mash tun and dump out all the grain and to clean that. I just lift up the grain bag and I pull that out, clean that, and then I can clean the mash tun in place. Down below here, you'll see this red coil. That red coil is my counterflow chiller. It's called an Extinguisher. I have that piped in so that it'll go through during the whirlpooling stage to help sanitize it and push the liquid back into the boil pot. Once I'm done with the whirlpool and the unit is sanitized, I can just disconnect that hose and put it right into my fermentation vessel. So that pretty much covers everything here on the front. Let's spin this unit around and I'll show you what's on the back. So here we are at the back of the brew rig. One thing I forgot to mention is this whole unit is on 4 casters that are heavy duty so that they can handle the weight of this and I can move it around. And I did get the casters that are all lockable so that no matter which position the unit is in, I can at least lock 1 or 2 wheels and not have to try to reach underneath the brew rig to lock it down. This is my boil pot, just so you've got the orientation, and here's the hose that connects into the propane tank. So over on this side is our Herms and hot liquor tank and the burner that I have modified. I changed out the needle valve on it and added that piece of equipment down below here, which connects to the controller device. The controller will tell that to turn on or off. When it's on, it will allow the flow of propane and turn on the burner. When the controller says that it's warm enough, it will turn that controller off. That is hard piped in with black pipe all the way to this regulator and the connector that goes right onto a standard propane tank with an extra shutoff valve. Also back here is my 2-stage water filter. I just plug in my water supply here, open the valve, and then it goes through the 2 stages, the particulate filter and then a carbon filter. And then I just have my connection here for my hoses to fill either my boil pot or my hot liquor tank, whichever one I need at the time. You'll also notice that on the bottom there's some electrical wiring. The electric comes into this unit and goes into a GFI protector. The GFI protector is then connected to a surge strip, which is up underneath this platform here, so it's protected and out of the way. And plugged into that surge strip is the 2 wireless connectors that control the pumps out that I showed you out front. So there you go, a real quick overview of my 3-vessel brewing system that I've semi-automated. In the coming weeks, I'll be using this setup to brew a batch of beer, so you'll get to see this system in action. Really appreciate the time you've taken to watch my video. I hope it's given you some useful information. I'd also like to take this opportunity to say thank you to everybody who's been supporting my channel, giving thumbs up, posting questions. Please keep that coming. I really do appreciate that. If you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe to my channel down below. Click the bell to be notified anytime a new video is posted. And while you're down there, smash the thumbs up button for a like. Remember, home brewing is fun, but so is drinking responsibly. I'm Coach Chris, and we'll see you next brew.